Welcome back to Should You Watch This with the Popcorn Priest. This is Chris Compton, your host. Today we've got another colon. This is our third colon in a row. There should be like an award for colon movies. And I'm not talking about Colin Powell. I'm talking about our movie today, 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. This is where we get a look at Jim from The Office, who got swole. It was like a big deal on the internet when people were like watching the trailer of Jim taking his shirt off and he's got washboard abs. And another alumni of The Office, Roy, is also in this film. So a couple of Office alumni. And also this has got Pablo Schreiber from Den of Thieves, which should be called Den of Thieves, Heat 2, The Reheat, because it's basically Heat made again, which is fine. Hollywood should make Heat every 10 years, in my opinion. This film is 2 hours and 24 minutes from 2016, directed by Michael Bayhem. Actually, it's just Michael Bay. 7.3 out of 10 from IMDb, yet Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 51% from the critics and an 82% from the audience. You'll have to listen to the review and see what I think. I think I probably would like this more a second time through than my first time. But anyway, take a listen. But before we do that, some popcorn trivia. John Krasinski, we mentioned earlier about his washboard abs. He drops from 25% body fat to 8% in this film, which is crazy. The original cut was 4 hours long. And this is kind of funny. Pablo Schreiber, who I mentioned earlier, he plays Chris Tonto Peranto. Say that 3 times. He was talking about his experience on the film, which is funny. Well, let me read this to you. In January 13th, 2016 interview, he received 3 injuries during the course of making 13 Hours. To stay in shape for the role, he would lift weights and ended up injuring his back while doing deadlifts. So that's injury number 1. He later tore his MCL cliff jumping. And then a couple days later broke his wrist. Schreiber received the broken wrist from sitting on the open tailgate of a pickup truck. When the driver of the truck gunned the engine, Schreiber flew off the back, which resulted in his injury. He had to wear a hard-shell brace that was flesh-toned to conceal the injury. Schreiber stated that they took out the brace in post-production, but there are still some scenes where it is visible, particularly the scenes where the operatives are guarding the annex. So, maybe just me, but maybe Schreiber, maybe don't tell anyone you got injured on the film, unless it's like you doing an awesome stunt where you jumped off of the 3-story building and had to do like a barrel roll. Maybe not when you're like sitting on a tailgate and you fall off. Maybe just leave those out of the interview. Just a pro tip for you, Pablo. During the morning prayer scene, the mosque tower shown was the same mosque tower from Black Hawk Down in 2001, when the helis are flying around the Mogadishu. Mark Wahlberg declined to play Tyrone Woods due to prior engagements. Dang, that would have been nice. I'm not gonna lie. I do, not that there's anything wrong with it, like to see John Krasinski's swole body, but I also like Mark Wahlberg's swole body, so there's that. Michael Bay, this is Michael Bay's lowest grossing film as of 2016. It had a $50 million budget and only made $69.4 million worldwide, so usually Michael Bay makes much more dollars than that. This is my last little tidbit. It's my favorite. In 2018, former President Obama, who I like, said in a conference that the Benghazi attack was a conspiracy theory and that it never happened. A former Army Ranger, Chris Tonto Peranto, who we mentioned before in the pod, He saved 20 people. He tweeted back at Obama calling him a liar and that he wanted to choke him out. With that being said, let's dive into our review of 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Enjoy.
Good to see you, brother.
Welcome to Benghazi.
Hey, everybody, this is Jack. We trained SEALs together, so he knows the drill.
Benghazi is under attack.
If you do not get here soon,
we are all gonna die.
6 hours till dawn. Entire city knows where we're holed up.
we're gonna unleash hate on these guys.
I haven't thought about my family once tonight. Thinking about them now.
13 Hours, a Michael Bay film, rated R.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Welcome back to another episode of the Popcorn Priest and his loyal followers. We have just screened, what is it called? 13 Hours.
Benghazi?
The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi, directed by...
Has a subtitle?
Yeah, has a colon.
I didn't even know that.
13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. This was directed by Michael Bay, released in 2016, rated R, 2 hours.
Just last year? January.
2 hours and 24 minutes. In this gripping account of the chaotic and tragic events of September 11th, 2012, 6 members of an elite security team battle to save the lives of trapped U.S. consulate personnel under attack by armed terrorists in Benghazi, Libya.
An armed terrorist?
It says...
Terrorists?
Terrorists.
Okay.
You were talking over me. That's why you couldn't hear
It's
it.
a single terrorist. It's like a serial killer or something.
So, yeah, it wasn't terrible. Like, I've heard a lot of people...
Bayhem is good. I will say that about it. Like, there's a good scene about halfway through it where they're going through the city. Some solid Bayhem there.
Patent pending.
Yeah. No, Michael Bay already patented Bayhem. With Bad Boys 2. That's where he sealed the deal. That's where it became his.
I think they could have chopped off 20...
It's any Michael Bay movie.
25 minutes, obviously.
For it to be like well constructed.
It's like he feels bad if he like wastes any footage that's shot, so he just throws it all in there.
So it's like, yeah, any Michael Bay movie, you could cut an hour off of it and it'd still be fine. Hey.
Yeah, but it's funny because, like, Black Hawk Down with Ridley Scott, it's like...
That movie just goes.
You like want more, you know?
Because that movie doesn't have like these like different these rises and falls the way this movie does, where you don't really have a good idea of the structure.
Yeah, Black Hawk Down, just once they get shot down, it's just nonstop till the end of the show. Like, it just keeps going and going and going.
It gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
a lot of pauses in this.
Pauses.
It's like any movie, like where like any Michael Bay movie, where it seems like it ends and then it has another hour.
Yeah,
it's like all his movies feel that way.
The embassy gets attacked, and so then they've got to regroup, and then they've got to sit here and talk, and then the CIA base gets attacked, but then they've got the waves, and there's like pauses in between. You're just kind of like, all right, well, now what's going to happen? So then your interest just starts dropping, and then you kind of, it's like just a roller coaster, kind of slowly.
Like, I was like really into it, like during like that scene where they were trying to get across like the town
to get to the embassy.
It's like all this awesome military hardware and guns.
Once they start, the first
but then it doesn't keep that up. Like, I mean, like there's the first time when they get invaded from like the fields, that was good, and then that just kept happening.
But then that's what I mean. Up until that point, it was, you could kind of figure what was going on, but then it just got so chaotic and so random that you couldn't tell who was getting
the problems. Like, I would say like the action's better than any of those Transformer movies.
Oh, heck yeah.
But it's really struggles with like knowing which characters are where and what's happening to them. Like, there are characters who do not make it through this movie, and I'm not quite sure who they were. Just because the movie's like not. I don't know how you solve that problem. Other directors have solved it.
Well, you just don't make him. It's like everybody's just big and muscly with a beard.
Yeah,
once
that's another thing. Is
once
that
you
they all
get your
kind of look
equipment
the
on,
same. It's like they're all wearing beards and helmets, and they all look
you can't
alike.
tell who's who.
It's like Jim from The Office is probably the most like standout one, just because his eyes are huge.
Yeah, they could have done something with like
There are there's two other guys that are the same. I thought that they were the same guy.
Yeah, they need to have like the guy with the red shoulder patch, or
he's never been good at that.
well, yeah, the action was crazy good. Like the way he
the Bayhem, the Bayhem.
Yeah,
It wasn't, for some reason it was like the first part of the movie that the handheld camera was getting to me, but then towards the end I didn't even really notice.
Yeah, I didn't really notice the handheld stuff. Didn't bother me, but that's never really bothered me in movies. It's like, and then there's the other side of this movie though, like where it's like kind of in poor taste. It came out in an election year when Benghazi was this like
Really hot topic.
Huge political like thing,
and they don't really discuss any of the aftermath.
Yeah, they don't really discuss that or what. Like,
it's just more. It's like there's an international incident,
but then they're also showing like the State Department guy is like this idealistic, like almost idiot. It's like the CIA are just these like inept, like cowardly, like it's like I don't know. It's like there's like two sides to it. Like the story part of this isn't very good. Like I thought like the whole part where there's establishing Jim as this family man was really overwrought. It was like in the driveway getting McDonald's and we're having a baby.
It's this crazy international incident that they only set up in a few paragraphs. So then it's just all this fighting and
and it's hard to understand why are there all these militias?
Yeah,
there's like they have that text in the beginning, but you're like, wait, why? Like what? Like,
yeah, it doesn't really it.
And a large part of it is like it doesn't explain the situation why they just decided to like prevent Muammar like Gaddafi from using his air force because he was attacking his own civilians, and that led them to being overthrown. And then there was no power structure, and then it was just like,
this crazy.
But like that's the thing. It's like the whole thing's more complicated than Michael Bay could ever, or any movie really could probably handle.
I know.
Did you like that I get my news 4 years later by watching this film?
That was really, it was surprising considering like how frequently Benghazi's been brought up in the news just because they wrapped it around Hillary's neck.
Yeah,
it was the election.
I can't stand watching news.
I don't watch it. I just read it. I just have an app on my phone.
I can only watch John Oliver because it's half news and half jokes.
I used to get all my show from like a Daily Show back when John Stewart was on there.
All right, Taylor, your rating of 13 hours, the Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
I give it 500 stars for the reasons said. The action, like, is really good, but it's also, like, misshapen in its structure, and it's also got, like, the politicized, like, simplification, and, like, only these private contractors are the Americans who know what's good. The government is inept and incompetent. It's like, it's like, things are more complicated than that.
We don't want to make things worse. We're going to wait here, even though there's crazy gunfire going on down the road.
So I'm going to say 500 stars.
All right, Taylor's giving it 500 stars of 1,000. So you would give it just a half.
Yeah. Because half of it was I liked it, and half of it
all right.
shaken.
I could take that.
I'd give it 2 out of 4 because it's the action. Half of it's really well done, and half of it's just really confusing and hard to follow. And like even when I was really paying attention, it was kind of hard to tell. 1 minute they're in a convoy together, and then another minute that both cars are gone, but they're a mile away from their target. But one car's there, so they have to run through the city. But then it's just hard to keep. The camera moves around so fast; it's hard to keep track of what's going on.
Yeah, I would say Blackout Down.
It is
the exact same movie, but better.
It is hard when you have your phone out and you guys are talking the entire time.
He said when he was paying attention.
When I was paying attention, there were several good chunks, especially when they left the compound to go to the embassy.
I was paying closer attention, and I still had that.
Yeah,
if I'd been on your chair, I probably would have been able to follow.
Okay, yeah, you guys, I really wanted to watch this, and you guys are making jokes.
You watched it.
I got it. There's some stuff that I missed, but overall, I think I would give it a medium bucket. It does not deserve.
What's with the CIA people being incompetent? That's the thing that bothered me part of the most. What is this? This guy's career CIA, and he's just like, no.
It was his last post before retirement.
Well, yeah, I think it's, well, I mean, worth a Blu-ray look, not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into like military action movies, like it's you know, it's.
Or even,
it's like,
what was that one? Tears of the Sun? Wasn't that kind of the same thing? Like trying to get Monica Bellucci like out of a war zone.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that one's not as good as this one.
Green Zone. I don't know.
It's kind of.
It's like it's not like the top tier stuff. It's not like a top military movie.
Well, no, this is like the team equivalent of Green Zone, where instead of Matt Damon trying to, you know,
Green Zone was not good.
Yeah,
you guys like Green Zone?
No, I mean, that's why I'm comparing this to. It's
I like
like
Green Zone better than this, though.
Oh man, I didn't like it.
It's kind of like a mid-tier action type thing. It's like it's not horrendous. I mean, it's better, it's better than it's better than all of his Transformer films.
Yeah,
it's not better than Pain and Gain.
Pain and Gain is amazing.
It's great. It also has an extra hour to it.
True. It's very long, but just so everyone knows, it's an R for a reason.
It's a hard R.
There's a lot of violence. Yeah. But man, be prepared for some carnage.
Yeah, it's pretty gory. It's some pretty savage war wounds.
Once the siege started and they were like they wanted to leave, it was like they're just dropping the F-bomb like on the radio with each other because the team wanted to leave, and then the other guys trapped in the diplomatic compound. Then like they started dropping the F-bomb quite a bit.
Anyway, so that's what you need to know going into it, and it's 2.5 hours long also, so keep that in mind.
Take a nap before.
Yeah, keep strong.
Still just a tight 2-hour Michael Bay movie. Will he
ever make one of those? I don't know. He should.
No, it's also horribly long.
Well, that's it for us. Any parting thoughts before we wrap this up?
Nah.
Nope. That's a hard no. We'll see you guys next time.
Good buddy.
And thanks for joining us for this episode of the Popcorn Priest.